Hey, Planeswalkers, Mythras here. Hope you're doing well and staying safe. Today, I got a fun top deck for you. This one hails to us from the Platinum to Mythic 6+ wins. We'll cover the main board. We'll talk about the sideboard. We'll pull those two together for a best of 3 for the how-to. And then additionally, we'll go play some competitive Magic in both best of 1 and best of 3 today. Now, before we go check this deck out, Planeswalkers, I just want to say thank you as always. I truly appreciate your support. Please feel free to like the video if you like it. You can like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter and Twitch. Stay up to date. And you can subscribe down over there. Or other ways to stay connected are down below in the description, as well as support the channel. You can become a patron or you can become a YouTube member as well, so always appreciate that. And then last but not least, you guys can check out my my Mythic journey down below on Untapped, and additionally the companion app is down there for you as well if you'd like to share your journey or track your statistics. All right, Planeswalkers, let's go ahead here. First off, we have a lovely Sultai Keruga Tians deck. That is correct, so my face was hiding that here. Let's go ahead and see what we got going on. Now, my friends, I have played this one actually a few times now, so I'm pretty excited to be checking this out today. It's made a nice interest in terms of this current season, so I think it's got a interesting position within the current meta, so absolutely makes sense that we check it out. It was nice to see it in a Keruga version as well. So Planeswalkers, as always, the deck list is available for you down below in the description. The list is down there as well. We'll talk about it as I mentioned, but before we do so, this particular deck is Sultai because of the green, the blue, and the black. So the forest, the islands, and the swamps, giving us the Sultai from Tarkir, and then our clan from Tarkir. And then additionally, it's Keruga because of the companion here. So I'll spend a second here. So Keruga, the macro sage, legendary creature, a dinosaur hippo. So here again, a companion. Our starting deck contains only cards with converted mana cost 3 or greater and land cards. So when Keruga enters the battlefield, we draw a card for each other permanent you control with converted mana cost 3 or greater. So this particular card was very, very popular in the good old Fires days. So for those of you, a little bit of throwback knowledge there. And then last but not least, Titan's Nest. So this Sultai Keruga Titan's deck is about that card as well as this one. So here, Titan's Nest it is an enchantment, and its ability at the beginning of our upkeep, we get a look at the top card of our library. We may put that card into our graveyard, and then we exile a card from our graveyard, add 1 colorless mana. Now we can spend this mana only to cast a colored spell with X in its mana cost. So again, that's pretty much just having X in its mana cost, which is a colorless piece there. So keep that in mind. It essentially gives you another form of ramp here, which is really, really interesting and can play out well if you guys watch the match that I played against this in. So Planeswalkers, we'll quickly do a flyby here so we can see everything, and then we'll go ahead and talk about the deck in its totality. Now, from an objective perspective, this is really a mid-range to late-game deck, and we see that purely because of Keruga and all the other things that we got going on here. It's really about the 3+, 4+ that gets us into actually doing something with the deck. And that is also a call out here. It is going to be a little bit slower, so pay attention. Obviously, we can't really do much until turn 3, so keep that in mind because that is going to be very important for us as we play here. So first off, we have Midnight Clock. Here is a 3-drop artifact. We can tap it for 1. For 3, we can put an hour counter on it. And then at the beginning of each upkeep, we put another hour counter on Midnight Clock. When we get to 12, we then shuffle our hand and graveyard into our library and then draw 7 cards and then exile this card. We got Neutralize here, so a cycling card. We get a counter target spell for 3, so anything there. We got Murderous Rider. Here we can destroy target creature or planeswalker. We lose 2 life. It has lifelink as a 2/3, and then when it dies, we put it in the bottom of its owner's library. We got Bala Ged Recovery, so the ability to pull target card from our graveyard back to our hand. Again, it's a modal land here, so it also can come in tapped as a forest. We have Skyclave Relic, so a very powerful artifact here. 1, it's indestructible. 2, we can kick it, and when it was kicked, we can create 2 tap tokens that are copies of Skyclave Relic as well, and then add 1 mana of any colors with this. Then we have Teferi, Master of Time. We may activate loyalty abilities of Teferi, Master of Time on any player's turn. Anytime we could cast an instant. We get a +1 here. We get to draw a card, then discard a card. -3, target creature phases out that we don't control. And then down 10, we get to take 2 extra turns after this one. So it's pretty nasty if you can get it off. Super, super fun. Then we got Eat to Extinction. This is an instant from Theros. Here we can exile target creature or planeswalker. Look at the top card of our library. We may put that card into our graveyard if we'd like. We have good old Extinction Event hailing to us from Ikoria. We can choose or even exile each creature with converted mana cost of the chosen value. 0 is even. A great board wiper and trade up one-to-many trade here. Then we also have Liliana, Walker of the Dead. Here, a legendary planeswalker. Good old Lily for our +1. Each player discards a card. Each opponent who can't loses 3 life. We have a Strap for -3. Where target creature will get -X until end of turn, where X is the number of cards in our graveyard, so don't forget that. And then last but not least, our down 7. We get an emblem with at the beginning of combat in our turn. Put target creature from a graveyard onto the battlefield under our control. It gains haste. Then we got Titan's Nest, so we already talked about that. We got good old Ashiok Nightmare Muse here, so we get to create a 2/3 black and blue Nightmare creature here with its +1. And then whenever this creature attacks or blocks, opponent exiles the top 2 cards of their library. Down 3, return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. That player exiles a card from their hand. And then our down 7, we may cast up to 3 spells from among face-up cards our opponents own from exile without paying for their mana costs. And then we get into some of the big hitters. Now we got Shark Typhoon here. We get our flying shark on the cycle, where we can cycle for 2 and pay X and create an XX shark for that payment. Or we can have it come in as an enchantment, where whenever we cast a non-creature spell, we get to create an XX blue shark creature token with flying, where X is that spell's converted mana cost. We have good old Sublime Epiphany, a very powerful card from M21. It is an instant. We can choose one or many. We have a counter target spell, counter target activated or triggered ability, return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand, create a token that's a copy of target creature we control, and last, target player draws a card. Then we also have Garruk, Cursed Huntsman. We get 2/2 wolf creatures. When they die, we get to add a counter onto Garruk. Each group, so keep that in mind. We are only running 1 here. Down 3, we can destroy target creature. We get to draw a card. And then down 6, we get an emblem with creatures we control, get +3/+3, and have trample. Then last but not least here on the high end, we have good old Ugin the Spirit Dragon. So gotta have Ugin, right? Here, +2, Ugin the Spirit Dragon deals 3 damage to any target. -X, we can exile each permanent with converted mana cost X or less. That's 1 or more colors. And last but not least, the down 10, we gain 7 life, draw 7 cards, then put up to 7 permanents onto the battlefield. So very powerful deck. Once you get towards the late game, we got a lot of good trades here. Again, as I mentioned, probably a little bit slow. And then last but not least, all the nice lands that we have for color fixing and things that we can do there. So very excited. Should be a lot of fun to run this. We do have 25 lands. Again, a couple modals in there as well, I believe. So that is the main board, Planeswalkers. If you do have questions or comments, let me know down below. Also, feel free to hop into the Discord server as well. That is available for you down in the description. Now, in terms of the sideboard, we first have Mystical Dispute. This is our instant slip. We can pay, it will cost 2 less to cast if it's countering a blue spell, and 3 to our opponent if they want to try and get out of the snare here. So where would we run this? We'd run this in a mirror match. We'd run this against anything running blue. You're going to run this against control decks. I would run it against, excuse me, I'd run against the Teamer decks, Ultimatum decks, Obosh. I'd run it against any other thing that's playing Ugin as well. I'd run it against the Dimmer control decks, and lots of great spots for this one. Also works well against the Yorion decks in the late game there as well. Then we got Elspeth's Nightmare here, destroy, and good against rogues. Elspeth's Nightmare is a saga. We can destroy target creature and opponent controls with power 2 or less. Target opponent reveals their hand. We choose a non-creature, non-land card from it. That player discards that for the 2. And then last but not least, we get to exile target opponent's graveyard. So, this works against more aggro decks. We can play it against mono red. We can play it against Gruul aggro. We can play it against the rogue decks. Additionally, it works well against mid-range and anything that's utilizing graveyard. Things like the Kroxa decks. These are going to be the Rakdos Midrange. Also might help you against Big Red at times if you need to exile the graveyard. Also potentially against the Esper Doom decks if they're going to play Dance from the Mats kind of a thing. Then we got Pestilent Haze. So here we get to choose one. All creatures get -2/-2 till end of turn, or remove 2 loyalty counters from each planeswalker. I would run this against the aggro decks. So these would be things like mono red. You could run it against Gruul if you wanted to as well. This is still going to hit a lot there. Gruul aggro. You can run this against mono white. Life gain. Lots of good spots for this one. Additionally, I would probably run it against rogues, and then also Lurrus decks. This can be really helpful there as well. If you run into a cycle, this could help you there as well. Then we got Karvik, the Spiteful. So here, legendary creature, human warlock. Other creatures get -1/-1. Again, a very nice control-y card. I would run this against any aggro decks and anything running creatures as well. That stacked with Pestilent Haze is going to be huge, but it does hit all creatures, so you could hit your own guy there, but it gives you a nice one, again, if you need to get some bigger things off the board there. Works well against Gruul aggro, works well against any token creation decks, so this could be things like good old Naya, Winata decks. Lots of good spots for this one. Good against mono red, good against the Gruul aggro like I mentioned. You could play it against the Boros Knights decks, you could play it against the Warriors decks, and against anything that's running creatures like I mentioned. Then we have Lithoform Engine. So here we can copy target activated or triggered ability we control. Now we may choose new targets for the copy. 3 target instant or sorcery spell we control. We may choose new targets again, and 4 target permanent we control. So I really like this. Actually, in a lot of areas, mid-range to late game for sure, particularly if you want to play Eat to Extinction, doubling up as well. Works nice on things like Shark Typhoon or Sublime Epiphany, where you can double up on a lot of different things. So it's got some interesting plays to it, for sure. I would not run it against an aggro deck. It's just costly. So if you do want another form of creativity within your deck, you can certainly play this one. Then last but not least, we got Zereth Sand the Trickster here. It's got Flash. 4, we can return an unblocked attacking rogue. We don't have any rogues in this deck, so you don't really have to worry about that. So we'll skip to the last piece here, but when it does deal damage to a player, we may put target permanent card that player from that player's graveyard on the battlefield under our control. I like this in the mid-range to late game. Not going to be as helpful, in my opinion, against some of the aggro decks. Could you play it? Yes, because you still have that flash ability, so it could be helpful, but just some things to kind of keep in mind there. So Planeswalkers, that is the sideboard. We're going to talk about how to pull these two together now, from both an aggro, well, all 3, an aggro, a mid-range, and a late-game perspective in terms of how we kind of move things up. Again, we talked about the rogue specific, but if we are going to go creature-based aggro decks, I would maybe look to these ones here. So that could be up to 10. What would I get rid of? Well, what I would do is I would look to, again, move this forward. I'd probably drop the Sublime Epiphanies. I'd probably keep Shark Typhoon. I'd keep 1 Garruk. I'd probably keep 1 Ugin as a high end, just in case. I would consider cutting maybe 2 lands. So that could be 2, 4, that could be 6. And then over here, I would definitely keep Ashiok and keep Tefiris. I would consider, depending on what kind of strategy I'm running, because this can work against Midnight Clock. The refill's nice, but you do like the Titan's Nest for the ramp, so you're still going to keep these in mind, and as well as Ashiok. I would actually maybe look to cut a Skyclave Relic, 2 of those maybe, because we still have enough to trade here. Or you could look to cut these 4, stay on par with your Titan's Nest, and then also continue to kind of swap some of these things in. So you could keep some of your high stuff in, because if you do get it on the board, you're most likely going to win or seal the deal in. But those are just 2 kind of strategies in terms of how I would board there. Now, when we talk about the mid-range, this could either be a creature-heavy deck, more so like Selesnya, or more of a control-y type deck, like the Rakdos Midrange per se. So there, depending on what you're running into, you may run the Mystical Disputes. You may not run... well, you probably also run Elspeth's Nightmare if they're leveraging the graveyard. So let's call it up to 6. Again, some of these other things may come into play or may not, depending on what you're doing. So if we do look at those 6, what would I consider moving around? Well, Mystical Dispute's nice. I would actually drop off Sublime Epiphany, potentially, if we keep the Mystical Disputes in there. I would like to try and keep some of these higher end things in terms of the late game. If they aren't running a lot of creatures, Extinction Event's an easy one to cut. So again, in some lands, that could be up to 5, 7 there, depending on how you look at that. Or if you want to cut kind of in this space as well, either a Midnight Clock or kind of Skyclave, that's kind of where I'd move some of those things in. So that's the mid-range matchup. Then last but not least, late game / control. Again here, I like that Zereth, like I said, kind of flipping that in there. Potentially Mystical Dispute, maybe Elspeth's Nightmare, depending on if you need to move things out. So again, 5 cards. Here I'm going to stick to my guns in terms of some of the higher end stuff, but I would maybe look to remove Skyclave, 2 lands, and then maybe 1 Midnight Clock. Per se. Again, these 2 kind of work against each other, so you just got to keep that in mind, because you do exile the card, and then that doesn't really help you with that. So just some thoughts there, Planeswalkers. Now that's kind of how I would look at my late game matchup. Again, if they're not playing a lot of creatures though, you could even go 6 here from that perspective. All right, Planeswalkers, that is the main board. That is the sideboard. We talked about how to sideboard. We covered a lot of things with this deck. So again, if you do got questions or comments, let me know. I'm very excited to bring this one in today. Expectations for best of one's going to be pretty fast. So again, we don't get going until 3. If we get the play though, we might be okay. And if we can trade for a 1-to-many, we'll be all right. And then hopefully, again, because we do the best of 3 match, we'll get to see a lot more of the deck. Because generally those tend to be right now mid-range to late game type matches. All right, so let's go ahead and play. I'm very, very excited, like I said, with this one. I think it's gonna be a blast. So yesterday we did the Azor's Party deck. You guys should absolutely check that one out. I really, really liked it. Had a lot of fun with it. It was pretty good, but we are playing standard ranked, and again, so there it is. We're gonna go ahead and grab this Sultai Keruga Tians deck and get going here. Now, Planeswalkers, as always, again, just want to say thank you. I really appreciate your support. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel down over there. Additionally, like the video if you like it. You can like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter and Twitch, stay up to date on daily content like this. And before we play Taco Wagon, other ways to support the channel down below in the description. Feel free to become a patron or subscribe, become a member to the YouTube channel as well. Always appreciate that. Great ways to interact and benefits for you as well, Planeswalkers. All right, let's see. I'm going to keep it because we got a lot of things here. We do have a couple plays. We are playing a Lurrus deck, so it'll be interesting to see. Most likely Rogues. Could be Cycle. Looks like it's going to be a Rogues deck. So we'll go here. So the nice thing here is if we do get a nest down, we are going to be able to move relatively quickly here in terms of the ramp, which is going to be very, very important for us. And a lot of times people are going to forget this as well. So we just need to keep that in mind, because if we can get that down uncontested, we're going to be able to slam some stuff pretty fast. But we do have to live long enough to make it happen. So there's the Ugin. So hopefully the best case scenario for us here would actually be get a Titan's Nest. And we can play it next turn. It would be really nice. That is unfortunate. We'll leave that on top. Let's see if we can get that out of the way. There we go. Let's see if they counter here. So we can go to 6. So we can try it. They're probably going to have a counter. We'll try it though. There it is. So a tough matchup for us because they had a control aspect to their deck here. So not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So not a ton that we could actually do here, which is too bad. Oh, here we go. Let's see if we can do anything. Return. Return. Well, we'll at least get that. Target a non-land permanent. I will take that because it was just fun. Well, we got our Sublime Epiphany off in a best of 1 match here. Unfortunately, not, again, a good matchup because they were more control-y. So tried to play around. We didn't have enough to make it work. So let's go ahead into our next best of 1 match. Super fun deck, though. Unfortunately, it is a little slow, like I said. And not having those slips in there was not helpful. So that is exactly what I would move in Planeswalkers. I would put those slips in there for the best of 3 matchups against that. So now we got Freddy Eris. All right, so we'll hit every color again here, so I'll keep this for now. looks like we have a good old another one of these, which is exactly what we needed. Another rogue deck. So we'll see if we can exact our revenge. Alright, so we really need to think about what we want to play here. So we know that they're going to have the control in here. So we got to be careful. And we got to figure out how we want to play around this. They'll get their 5. Here we go.
Here, deep below, lie succulent horrors.
That's not going to matter because that's still going to hit.
Are delightfully friendly.
Of one mind. Such a nice cantrip there. Oh, come on, tap out. Ugh. Of course we're not going to get him to tap out, huh?
The shadows awaken.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see if they let me kick up. Ooh. There we go. Now we got some protection. Now we got some protection on the board. So I can use my neutralize. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, we can go. Let's try Lily first.
I have the right to choose my own fate. And yours.
There we go.
Play a game of hide and seek. Looks like you're not fit to survive.
Sorry for your loss.
Good old into the story. Could have kept our neutralized, that would have been nice. We got a ton of mana though. It's probably not going to be enough though, unfortunately. If we could get Sultai's Titan's Nest. Ugin would have been nice.
I'm gonna go
You're
on
more
something
powerful
else.
than I thought.
Let's see if we can get a draw off this. We'll see. I would assume not. Oh, there we go. There we go. Let's throw our pathway on. That was big. That was big. So, do they have lethal yet? 2, 4, 10. Not yet. There we go. So right now, we actually almost have lethal. Almost have lethal. If we hit both of these here, we'll be good. There's our Titan Nest. Let's see what they got. Alright, so mana. Eat 2 extinction. We'll keep that on the library for now. Eat 2 extinction. We got it, you guys. I think we got it. They need a counter, but we've got 2, maybe not 2. There's all the drones. Boom! We got it! We got it! We took down one rogue's deck with the Titan's Nest deck. So I'll take that, my friends. Looking great here in Diamond Tier 1 with our Titan's Nest deck. Exacting revenge just the way that we want to do it. Alright. On to our next match here for our best of 3. So again, traditional standard ranked. Zor's Party deck, you guys check that out. Super, super fun. But we are playing our Sultai Keruga Tians Nest deck. And we are on. Now, as always, Planeswalkers, huge thank you. I appreciate your support. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel down over there. Additionally, like the video if you like it. You can like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter and Twitch, stay up to date on daily content like this. Other ways to support the channel down below. Before we play and decide to keep on Webster JP here, you could become a patron or feel free to join the channel as a member. I would love that support and great ways to interact and good benefits for you guys as well. All right, we are going to play first. I will keep this because we finally have Titan's Nest and we can actually play some of these things. So let's see how it goes. I am looking forward to making this work here for us today in best of 3. So we'll go Triumph into field into Midnight Clock. That gives us a turn of 4 for Titan's Nest here. So no, well, I'm not going to jinx myself here. So I'm guessing this is going to be a Gruul deck. Going to be a Gruul deck. So let's see. That Keruga reload was huge for us last game. All the copies on the Skyclave trigger helped a ton. Oh, no. Not a Gruul. Maybe a Rakdos Midrange? Ooh, what are you gonna hit? Don't take the Titan's Nest. Don't take the Titan's Nest. Ooh, good. I can live with that. I'm gonna keep this because I need the mana ramp for right now. This is a odd. Of course they did that on purpose, but we can live with that. So next turn we got 5 here.
The best thing about zombies is their adoring obedience.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's get rid of Lily. Well, actually, let's go with Tiffany here.
We're doing things my way.
Let's go graveyard. There we go. Not enough yet there. Not enough.
I have no interest in fighting fair.
Let's go graveyard. Give us 2 draws. 3. There's that. So we'll dump the Titan's Nest here.
Sorry for your loss.
There you go. There you go. Look at that. We'll go graveyard. Alright. So this we can do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no. Pay 8. reset. So hopefully she doesn't. There we go.
Consider this graveyard my barracks.
Got caught in a bad spot there. I was actually hoping that Ugin was going to hit, but Ugin did not hit. But we do have Eat to Extinction, so that will be a big one. We'll go Library. What's that gonna give me? Let's kick it. So, escape the Croxa. There you go. What are you going to get rid of? We'll keep the Ox. There you go. It's not going to have haste, so we can get rid of this. We could have hit a couple of those, so let's save that for now. We'll go Graveyard. So here's how this works. Well, they got the guy back. Oh, they got got me. So we at least got to see the Titan's Nest. Made some mistakes with the Ugin, unfortunately, which looks like it's some of the triggers. So I'm thinking that I needed to actually manual click on some of those things, but maybe that would not have got it. But here we can do these two. What else do we want to do? Maybe I think those two are probably good enough, to be honest. I'm okay with the high-end stuff. Get rid of those lands like I talked about. We'll go from there. You could run the slips. We don't really need them. You could run that. The biggest thing is going to be getting around Croxa here. So good match though. I'm just a little bit on that Ugin piece there, because it didn't show that I couldn't cast it. So maybe we'll get a second. Maybe we'll get a second try at it. No. Oh, horrible, 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 horrible. 2 in a row here. We're gonna keep this though. With no colors, we're gonna try it. I cannot believe we got totally crushed like that. Totally crushed. Two right off the bat. Go grab our swamp first. They may hit their own guy. I give them enough fill in the graveyard here. Yeah, there they go. Oh, I don't know about that. We need one land. If we get one land, we'll have a chance to come back. We will have a chance to come back. What are we going to get rid of here? I'm going to keep the Murderous Rider. Let's get rid of Sublime. Oh! Oh! So painful today. Just pain. Wow. Just pain. And this was actually not a bad matchup, which makes me a little sad here, because we had a chance. We actually would have had a chance, but the two lands of just horrible, and there we go. We feel the pain. So Planeswalkers, we at least saw the majority of the deck and kind of how it operated, so I'm okay with that today. Unfortunately, just not a good showing, but we did beat a rogues deck with this, so I'm pretty happy, particularly in the best of one when it should have been slow. I think the Ugin thing could have played out a little bit differently. Again, if you saw, I had to click there. The auto stuff wasn't working well, so that maybe that could be a bug too. So anyway, is what it is, and that's how it goes. So Planeswalkers, we'll go back and check out the deck here quickly. Again, this was the Sultai Keruga Titans deck. Super fun. We got to saw a lot of things. It is a little bit slower. You know, a couple of the things that I would suggest here too is we do have a lot of good direct kills. We just didn't hit them. We didn't hit them well today. We did double up on that E to Extinction, which was nice. You know, we get Lily to help power, Teferi to help power. Midnight Clock is okay. You kind of work against yourself. It was nice to reload. I would suggest maybe moving that out. I would maybe move 2 lands out as well. And I would maybe add in another Extinction event and E2 Extinction just to kind of help shore up some of those things. Again, just unlucky there on the best of 3 match. But hey, that's how it goes. You know, if we would have hit 1 land, we could have wiped that board, and that would have been a totally different ball game. We could have came back, I think, from that with some chip damage and things. But oh well. Until next time, Planeswalkers. Again, hope you guys enjoyed the deck. Played out kind of like we thought, which is good, as always. Again, this is what we have going on. If you do have questions or comments, let me know down below. Always happy to help with that. Again, feel free to hop into the Discord channel. And then here is the sideboard as well. A couple things you could probably switch out of there too. All right, Planeswalkers, as always, again, a huge thank you. I really appreciate your support. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel down over there. Additionally, like the video if you like it. You can like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter and Twitch. Stay up to date on daily content like this. Other ways to support the channel, down below in the description. Feel free to become a patron or a YouTube member. Lots of great benefits there for you as well. So, all right, Planeswalkers, well, until next time, maybe next time, we'll have a little bit better luck. That was a bad beat day in terms of some of those hands that we pulled. And then again, that little Ugin mix-up. Wish I could replay that, but maybe another time. So, all right, Planeswalkers, you stay safe. Mythras out. Stay tuned, because we'll see you soon.